Hi. Just gonna wait a minute. I wanted to get on here tonight for a couple of reasons. So, I know that in recent news, if you haven't heard, Kanye West has given his life to Christ and he's become a Christian. And I know that there are people all over America who are absolutely freaking out about his decision to accept Christ into his life and to become a Christian and live his life out loud. It kind of got me thinking about some things because a few years ago I had a close friend of mine say that ever since I moved to Washington, she noticed that I had become more religious. And I remember kind of just thinking, like, I'm not a religious person at all, like, not at all. So knowing that I'm not a religious person and knowing that spiritually I just have decided to just stay as close to God as I possibly can because of the crises that I've had in my life, I really kind of went back and thought, do people think that I'm religious, or do people think that I'm focused on things that, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what I thought people were thinking, but I wanted to kind of bridge that gap and open up that door for discussion. So, I gave my life to Christ when I was 14. And it was a decision that I made at a summer camp with the church that I was attending as a child growing up. We were all at USC at this big conference, and this youth group section that I was in, this lady decided to speak prophetically into my life. And she was on the platform and she was, worshiping and singing. She was an artist, and she stopped the music and she said, I just really feel like there's somebody in this room whose parents are going through a divorce, and she stepped up and trusted that what she was hearing God say was accurate. And she reached out, and everybody, all my friends around me were like, that's you. And in my spirit, I knew she was talking about me, but I didn't want to believe that God would know me like that and would try to speak to me like that. So I just kind of pushed that idea away and thought, no, there's no way that God would speak to me through somebody else, right? There's no way that would happen. So anyways, she ended up speaking some things into me that I absolutely needed to take me through the next couple of years, things that helped me stay standing on my feet and continue to grow and continue to be the person, I guess, inevitably that I am today. I know there are a lot of people who know me from like way before as a teenager or elementary school even. I have friends who know me through my 20s when I was wilding out and crazy and partying all the time and like hanging out and having fun. And then also friends who have moved forward with me who maybe I didn't party with, but maybe I knew you from school, or I knew you from work, or I knew you from all these other crazy places. And I went back to school 10 years ago. I think I started school 2008, so 11 years ago. And the friends that I have made since 2008 until now don't really know the crazy that the friends I knew before 2008 know. And that is where I feel like I need to bridge the gap. So for those that don't know, I am a child of divorce. My parents had a crazy marriage. It was super abusive. I was married at 16, divorced at 20, married again at 21, divorced again at 22. No, 22. Got into a big, long relationship with my daughter's father, and then just kind of hit pause in life and just try to figure out from there, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? What's going wrong? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? Type of thing. So there are a lot of things that went through people, schools that I attended, courses that I've attended, groups that I've attended, churches that I've attended, everything just seeking this validation to figure out what's wrong with me, how can I fix me, what parts of me need to change. And going through that, it all came back to one thing. Like, no matter what I've done in my life and no matter where life has taken me, no matter what state I've been living in, I am constantly coming against this brick wall. Like, well, who am I? Who is Teresa? Who is she, and how is she relevant, and why does she matter? So anyways, I gave my life to Christ at 14, shortly around the time that that lady spoke life into me. And I thought, like, that was just so amazing that she did that. Like I said, married at 16, super abused, got out of that marriage, and that I'll have to share another day, but that particular day was crazy. During the time that I was healing from that marriage, TV ministry started speaking to me. There were a few local that just really kind of stuck out to me and were just kind of like, yep, this is important. This is stuff I need to know. Hi, Erica. And then I know that I joined a church at that time or around that time here locally in Tacoma, and I remember feeling like I just don't fit in. I'm not a part of, I don't fit here. I don't belong here. If they knew me, if they knew the real me, they wouldn't want me here. They would know the problems in my life and the crises in my life, and they would definitely have something negative to say, like, get her out of here. She doesn't belong. I didn't feel like I fit in any way. I moved forward from there. I got involved thinking maybe if I just get involved, then more people will get to know me and I won't feel like such an outsider. And I did. I was there for a couple of years and I still didn't feel like I totally fit in, so stopped going. And over the years, though, there were several people who stood out, and I knew were always praying for me and always stepping out for me and always, supporting me and there for me when I needed them. But then I got married again, and I went crazy in a different direction, and that marriage was crazy also, divorced again there, turned around and joined the second church on my own, like outside of my parents and stuff. But I joined the second church, and again, felt like an imposter, felt like I didn't belong, felt like I was a hypocrite, felt like I was fake, felt like, there were all these outside influences that just didn't seem to fit in. Erica, you're hilarious. Oh, you're cute. So anyways, I was at the second church, and I was at that church for quite a long time. And I know that there, big thing at that church is getting involved. So I did. I got involved, and I got, plugged into the culture and all of that. But again, didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like an outsider. I felt like I was an exception to the rule. And then the church hurt happened. And the church hurt is a big deal because there was something that happened in there that where I was talked about, and it was wrong, and it was a lie. It wasn't true. And I was angry that it was something that was said so negatively about me, but it cut me so deep because I was doing everything I could to be right and to be positive in that life and be involved in that life. And so to be told that I was doing something that I wasn't doing was just like, I could be out doing all kinds of things that I'm not doing, like that I was doing, and I'm not doing those things. So why are you harassing me? But it pushed me away and it pulled me away. It was just another one of those things to take me out of that environment and get me outside of the church and outside of that life, where I ended up just forgetting about church altogether. I didn't want anything to do with it. Those people were hypocrites. They were mean. They were hurtful. They were spiteful. They, would act one way and do another thing. And I know that is something that is really prevalent in today's world, where people just think Christians are hypocrites, like, period. No matter what they do, they act one way, they say one thing, and then they do something totally different. And that is something that I personally have sought to change, where I'm like, if you know me, you know that I don't tolerate anything anything like that. I am loving of all people. I am inclusive of all people. I don't judge people for things that they've done. I don't make people feel in any way like they don't fit into my world. I work really, really hard to make sure that everybody that I love knows that I love them, and that I'm, with them and supportive of them and everything. And that's just how I've chosen to live my life. But I can't, again, I'm not all Christians. I can't speak for everybody. So I ended up leaving that church and moving to Arizona and doing stuff down there, and you couldn't get me in a church for nothing. It took me years to step into another church because of the things that I faced and the things that it just hurt me and cut me so deep that I don't want anything to do with it. I ended up working for a Christian lady. I love you too. And the Christian lady that I worked for was just so so sweet and loving, and she was so supportive of me, and she kept saying, if you just come with me and just come join and, jump in and say whatever, come in, just be involved and come to my church and visit. And reluctantly I started to go, and I started to get involved, and we went there for a couple years during the time that I lived in Arizona, and I typically stayed involved. From then going forward, we moved back to California. I got back involved at other churches, started attending a church in Hemet, and then when we moved back to LA, there was Oasis that we were going to, and I just, again, though, the theme, I remember being so afraid to get involved at Oasis because I didn't want to feel like I didn't fit in, again, like I had been feeling. I didn't want to get close to things and people and then be rejected again by the church or pushed out of the church like I just didn't matter, or like that hurt again, or some type of form that I just, you don't belong here type of thing, or we don't want your kind here, or whatever the case may be. So I also felt that I still had sinned too much. I didn't fit in because I'd done too much in my history, too much in my past. I was a sinner. I struggled with different types of sin that I really wasn't ready to let go of. And because of that, I know the enemy was going crazy in my mind, saying, you're not a real Christian. There's no way you really believe, because if you really believed, you wouldn't be, wanting to do this. And if you really believed, that wouldn't be a temptation. And if you really believed, then, you wouldn't be struggling with these things anymore, because you'd be free from all whatever. So I have company. Anyway, so I really think it's important. Hold on, let me see.
Is everybody in?
Everybody's in, Grandpa.
So I can lock the front door?
Yep, you can lock the front door.
They know about the key.
Yes, we know about the key. We know where it's hidden. Okay.
Well, did I ever tell you why I put that key there?